Yo guys, what is going on? It's Lucky here and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys the best tips and tricks on how you guys can get the best possible accuracy in Black Ops 4. Now this isn't just only like for Black Ops 4, this would pretty much work, or it pretty much applies to any Call of Duty, maybe even MW if you guys are trying to get a better accuracy for MW. Now I'm basically just going to be going through a few little tips and tricks, a few classes at the end that you guys should use to increase your accuracy, and just a few little general tips that you guys should know. Now first of all, I'm going to be starting off with the kind of settings and like sensitivity tips and stuff like that that you guys should be using. Now before I do get into this video, if you do enjoy, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers before the end of Black Ops 4. I'm not quite sure if it is possible. I'm about 3,500 subscribers away. So if every single one, or as much as you guys as possible, could go ahead and hit that sub button, I would really appreciate it. But of course, only do it if you actually enjoy my channel and you actually support my videos and stuff like that. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about the sensitivity. Now personally, I like to go ahead and use a 7/7 sensitivity. Now in this Call of Duty, just like a few of the previous Call of Duties, it's not just one sensitivity for looking everywhere. There's a separate sensitivity for horizontal and vertical movements. So personally, I like to have it on 7/7. Now you guys don't have to go ahead and have it on 7/7 if you guys don't want to. Obviously every single person is going to have a different sensitivity that they think suits them. This might be a 6, a 12, some of you guys might have it as high as it possibly goes. I think the highest on this game is 11 or 12, I'm not quite sure because I don't actually use the highest one, but by all means try it. Go ahead and try it. I do know a few people who use the max sensitivity there is, and if you can actually learn how to use the max sensitivity properly, then you guys will be absolutely unstoppable, because you guys can literally like snap on people so easily, turn on people so easily, and trust me, it is very godly if you guys can actually manage to pull a max sensitivity off. Now the next thing I'm going to be talking about is this ADS sensitivity. Now this is kind of new in this game. At the beginning it wasn't there. It kind of came out about 3 or 4 months into the game, and then it came out. And basically what it is it adjusts your sensitivity whilst you are aiming down the sights. Now, so basically when you aim down the sights, if you guys realize, if you look around, it is actually slower than if you guys were not to be zooming in. And basically, personally, I like to go ahead and put this on a 0.75 times multiplier, whatever, so it's a little bit lower. 1 is the normal speed, but I like to put it on 0.75, and that is 1 below the normal speed, so it makes it a little bit slower when you are aiming down your sights. And basically this allows you to lock onto targets better. It will allow you to keep your aim on the enemy a bit better. Now personally I use 0.75, but of course you guys don't have to copy that. You guys can go ahead and go down 1 to 0.5. No matter what, I definitely do not recommend using the lowest one. That would just be a big mistake, but 0.75 or 0.5 if you guys really want to. And these next few ones aren't really important. Obviously you guys are going to want to have target assist off, and then every other single option here is pretty much it doesn't matter. Obviously you guys can go ahead and mess around with all the sensitivities. You guys can go mess around with your button layout and stuff like that and everything else, but pretty much those first sensitivity ones are the only really important kind of things to use. Now another little tiny tip that a lot of people don't know is that you can actually personalize your sights. So let's say for example you wanted to use the reflex sight, all you guys have to do is press triangle or Y on it, and basically as you can see you can change the color, and you guys can actually go ahead and change the reticle. Now personally I just recommend using the normal dot, but you guys can actually have some pretty good ones in the black market drops. Now if you guys remember from IW as well, there's a blue dot reticle. You guys can actually go ahead and put a blue dot on your weapon if you guys go ahead and change the color. Now that is basically a few little tips, a few basic tips that a lot of people should know. I'm going to go ahead and go into custom games and show you guys a few little kind of things that I do to basically improve my accuracy. Now I used to do this on pretty much every COD, but over time, obviously as you play more and more and more, your accuracy is going to obviously just get better over time. So that is another thing that you have to bear in mind. You guys aren't going to get a good accuracy overnight just from doing this. You guys are obviously going to have to play a lot of the game as well to improve your accuracy, but these little tips I do have you will speed up that process, and you guys will see improvements within a week or so, or a few days if you guys play enough. So basically, something I do in custom matches is to go ahead and play against bots and stuff like that. And I just want to mention quickly as well, as you can see on this class, I have reflex sight, laser sight, stock, and gunko. All of these perks and all of these attachments I have put on my weapon increases my accuracy by just a little bit. Now, I recommend you guys using them if you guys are struggling with your accuracy. Just go ahead and look at what the attachments do, and you guys can go ahead and put them on your weapon, and trust me, it will be very, very useful. Now, one little thing I do, this might sound stupid, but basically, as you can see in the background, I am literally going around the map and I am snapping on to target. Now, if you guys don't know what that means, basically I'm just walking around the map and I'm aiming at the object as fast as possible. Now, I know it sounds stupid, but trust me, it really, really does help. Anyway, the next tip I'm going to be talking about is something that a lot of people do. So basically, you should definitely line your crosshairs up before you aim in. So center your crosshairs on the enemy. So as you can see now, I am centering my crosshairs onto the enemy. This is what not to do. As you can see, a lot of people aim in, they see an enemy, they aim to the side of them, and they drag their scopes along to the enemy. That is what not to do. Basically, what you should be doing is this instead. So I'm going to run around the map a few times again. As you can see, before aiming in on the targets, I'm going to center my crosshairs on the very center of that object. And then all I have to do then is press the aim in button, and I'll be directly on to their body, right in the middle of their body. And obviously doing that is going to help a ton. I see a ton of people, basically, they see an enemy and they aim in to the left of them, to the right of them, and then once they're aimed in, then they change to zoom into the actual player, and that's how you're going to fail. That's how you're going to get destroyed by all the other enemies. Trust me, don't do it, because when you aim in, you're a lot slower than when you're not aiming in, and that's basically the main reason for it. As you can see, aim in, center your crosshairs and aim in on the target, center your crosshairs and aim in on the target every single time. Trust me, it really, really does help. And like I said before, just going around custom games, doing it on bots if you guys really want to. I personally like just doing it on random objects. You guys can find some small objects and stuff like that, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to go ahead and talk about is to snap onto targets. So let's say, for example, you get into a gunfight with two people. This is what you want to do. You see one person, you zoom in on that one person, you shoot them, you zoom out of the weapon, and then you zoom back in. What you guys don't want to do is what I'm doing right now, which is aiming in, shooting one player, and then continuing to aim in and dragging your crosshairs to the other person. That is what you don't want to do, because when you zoom in, it's a lot slower and you guys are going to get at a big disadvantage. Basically, instead of doing that, just go ahead and zoom in on the one player and then take your aim away by releasing the trigger, and then obviously aiming back in again. That is literally all you have to do. It is so easy, and it's such a big help. Literally, you guys will realize how much it helps so much. Just start doing it and you guys will notice a difference tremendously. Trust me, it is very, very helpful. So once again, if you see more than one player, you guys are going to want to go ahead and zoom in on the first player. You're going to have to decide which player you guys want to shoot first. Maybe they are behind cover, or maybe there's a guy not really focusing on you as much. Whichever factors they are doing, then obviously it's going to change which player you kill first. Personally, I'd kill the player who is shooting you first, and then the other player, if he's not looking at you as much, then deal with him after. So aim in, shoot the first guy, aim back out, and then aim back in to the other player. And trust me, this little tactic helps so much. It's so much better than just zooming in and staying zoomed in. The only reason you should stay zoomed in when there is more than one person is if they are directly behind each other or literally right next to each other, because obviously you guys can just move your crosshair a little tiny bit and you guys will be on their target. But that is the only reason when I would actually do that. Now, the last thing I want to go ahead and show you in this video is 2 little classes that will help you get amazing accuracy without even trying. This doesn't matter how good you are, you could be the worst player in the world, but if you guys use these weapons and classes I'm about to show you, you guys will improve so much. So the first class is obviously going to be the ICR, and the other weapon is going to be the GKS. So with these 2 weapons, basically what you can do is put grip 1 and 2 on them, put quick draw on it, and put a reflex sight on this weapon. Do it on both these weapons, and trust me, these weapons just become absolute laser beams. Now, personally, if you are a core player, then I recommend using the ICR, and if you are a hardcore player, then I recommend using the GKS. But trust me, just these 2 weapons with these attachments on them are just absolutely insane. Grip 1 and 2, reflex sight, and quick draw on both of these weapons literally just make everything so easy. So anyway, that has been it for today's video. Hopefully this video did help you. If it did, make sure to drop a sub and a like, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.